All right, good afternoon. We have another interesting case today. Carter was nice enough to let us present it today. This is extremely interesting because of the number of implants that Carter has had over the years, different styles, different brands, different locations. Some were placed here in the U.S. and a lot of them were placed in Costa Rica. I'm going to kind of go through and just show you some of the things we've noticed throughout the process and the things we've been trying to correct. Carter, first of all, basically you said your first implant was 1991.
1991, and that was in St. Petersburg, Florida. It was very experimental.
And that is this one right here.
Correct.
Where we have this really skinny implant with all of these threads that are going across. First thing I saw when I looked at that, when I saw you, Carter, back in 2018, was that these threads were going right up against the canine tooth right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
These are one of those situations, even when we see things that are not right, we just pure luck that we're not having an issue where that canine tooth had to be removed or anything.
Yep.
Maybe that's a possibility, the reason for the root canal. But also what I see here is the post, instead of going right down the canal, is off to the side.
Yes.
Yet it's been lasting all these years. And so at this point it's not broken. We don't try to fix it. And we just need to keep a close eye on these things. But that's an amazing thing to have that implant since 1991. Now a lot of these other implants, this one that's diagonal right here, these skinny little ones right here that have cantilevers going forward, I believe most of those were placed in Costa Rica.
Yes, that's correct. They don't make all the molds in Costa Rica like I know they do here, the forms to get that tooth to go straight down. He just sits down with you and does it
Just like that.
And most of them turned out fine. That would surprise me.
Yeah, and I think you were talking about your experience there, like what is the office like? What's the scenario?
Oh, the office is just it's like a wonderful place to go. There are 3 separate offices. People come from all over the world, literally, and you sit and talk to people from Canada, from Germany, from South America, Panama. It's phenomenal, and they're all there because the prices are so low, and they do a generally excellent job. The latest I checked last week, a new zircon crown there is very inexpensive. It's around $500.
Around $500?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were checking compared to what our price
Compared
is
to
to get an
America,
idea.
yeah, and that's
it's
why
almost
people
about half the price.
Yeah, and other things are free, and they're so honest. They're good people.
Yeah,
it really is.
Okay, so Carter and I, he has a very good experience with the treatment in Costa Rica. When I look at things, I see things very differently on the X-rays, and so we have to have these open conversations and kind of have an understanding. So I'm going to show you what I see on the X-rays, the things we've had to correct throughout this process. Every patient has to make their own decision. We're not here to lecture or kind of, force people to do things our way, but we do have to educate our patients, and then they have to make their decisions. So in the end, if Costa Rica is the right place for Carter, that's where the treatment's going to be. But I do have to advise and kind of inform on things that I find. So here, let's just talk about what we see here. This was a 2018 X-ray. And we ended up having this tooth determined non-restorable. It had posts that were placed right into the canal space, but never had a root canal. Basically it broke down to the point where it was not fixable. And then on the back here, we had an open contact where food was getting stuck. And back in 2018, this crown was healthy and strong, but about 3 weeks ago when Carter came in, we found decay underneath it, and we just finished seating a brand new crown on that. So this is 2018 X-ray, and now if we go down to this Panner X-ray here, this is the final of what we did to fix it up. We placed an implant in the area where we had the non-restorable tooth, and then we left, this implant is looking good, and then the back crown, we placed a brand new crown, got a good contact, close up contact where we're not having food impaction or anything. Pretty happy with that result. Now, let's go to the lower right X-ray up here. So back in 2000, this is a new 2020 X-ray. what we found was, again, food was getting through an open contact and sitting right between this area. And so this implant, basically, I can see it's diagonal with a little bit cantilever forward, with a little bit of a kind of like a acute angle here where food can get stuck. And then basically, because food is getting stuck, it decayed out this molar tooth to the point where we needed to remove it. Now, this became a bit of an issue between me and Carter because I recommended bone graft at the time of extraction for two reasons. One, because I wanted to preserve the bone so we can have an implant placed there later, but also because this root sits right next to that implant there. And with that thin layer of bone, I did not want to risk damaging the long-term stability of this implant. Even though I don't like this implant being skinny and cantilevering forward and having that kind of cantilever there, I didn't want it to be the reason why it failed. So I recommended graft. Carter didn't want the